Hello friends, it's Wendy Rule here, and I'd just like to share some information with you about our upcoming Gemini Dark Moon. So the Dark Moon is this coming Thursday, the 10th of June, and it's at 10:52 a.m. Universal Time, so GMT. That translates to very early Thursday morning for those of us here in the US, and for those in Australia, it will be Thursday night. So I'll be doing my dark moon ritual on Wednesday night while the moon is still waning. So Gemini is an air sign and it's mutable air. So air that likes to move and shift and change, which is a very naturally airy quality. So Gemini has a shapeshifter energy and also a kind of trickster energy. Can go here and there. It's very much aligned with the mind, with thought, with travel, with communication. Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury is the closest planet to our sun and also the fastest. So it zooms around the sun. Likewise, the god that we call Mercury, who's aligned with that planet, is Hermes in the Greek pantheon. Just like the planet, Hermes is fast moving and he also is the messenger of the gods. So his job is to take information from up in Olympus, bring it down to earth and also to the underworld. So it's about exchanging information. So you can see then why that Gemini energy is also associated with things like computers and the internet and all that kind of stuff. On the Gemini Dark Moon, so every dark moon calls us to turn inward, to slow down, to move into a period of self-reflection, to take a breath, and especially in this world of ours that is so much about sending energy out. The dark moon is a time to turn our gaze inward and simply connect in with ourselves. So how does that relate to the Gemini energy? Well, with Gemini being related to the mind and to communication, to speech, to thought, then when we turn our attention inward for a start, we can slow down our mind and we can use the gift of breath, of air, that gift of this sign anyway, the airy gift. We can use that to help slow our mind down. And you know when your mind is racing all over the place or when you're lying in bed and tick, 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 this Gemini dark moon is an opportunity for us to push reset, to slow down our mind, to observe where is our mind going, what is taking up all of our thoughts at the moment, to observe that, and an opportunity to start fresh new ways of thinking, fresh new ways of communicating. Now, as I said, the god Hermes, who is Mercury in the Roman pantheon, Hermes naturally travels between different realms. He can go from Olympus to the surface of the world, but also into the underworld. So this means that this god and this planet, and therefore this sign, does have an underworld, chthonic, earthy energy. And Mercury also rules the earth sign of Virgo, so that gives us a hint of this earthy energy too. But specifically today, I want to talk about this underworld aspect of Mercury/Gemini. So Hermes naturally goes it down into the underworld. He's carrying messages between Hades and Zeus. So he's quite natural, feels quite natural in that dark underworld realm. And it might seem counterintuitive whenever we see pictures of Mercury. He's got his winged helmet and his winged heels and he's zipping here and there and so lively. How does that equate with the underworld? Well, this time, this particular dark moon also coincides with a period of Mercury Retrograde. And this gives me an opportunity to chat a little about this underworld quality of Mercury. So Mercury Retrograde happens when from our view here on Earth, Mercury, the planet, appears to move backwards through the sky. And the planet itself, of course, doesn't move backwards. It's all about our view here on Earth, which is really how we approach astrology. It's a geocentric tradition. It's about our view here and looking out to the sky from planet Earth. So a few times a year, Mercury is moving along nicely, doing his mercurial things, taking care of all our travel plans and our communication, making sure all our emails get sent off properly. And then he stops and moves backwards over that same area of sky that he's traversed forwards, moves backwards for a period of about 3 or 4 weeks. And during that time, it can seem as though everything goes a bit haywire. And Mercury retrograde has therefore got a bit of a bad rap in our kind of popular culture. But this apparent movement of the planet backwards, yes, it does have an effect on our life here on Earth. Things do go a bit haywire, but it is a natural occurrence, just as natural as the full moon or the dark moon or night or rain or springtime. So that in itself is a clue that we can't just go about our lives resenting every Mercury retrograde that comes along, because this movement backwards, apparent movement backwards of Mercury is, I believe, like the period of time that the god Mercury spends in the underworld. And he goes down there regularly, hanging out with Hades and Persephone, sending his messages. And so this period of Mercury retrograde is our opportunity to let our mercurial, fast-moving minds take a rest from the surface world, from the world of action, of doing, and just slow it all down, accept that things are going to be a little different during this time, and slow down our minds, push reset, connect in with a deeper part of ourselves. Sometimes our shadow aspects of self will come up during Mercury retrograde, and that's fine. We don't expect the sun to be shining in the middle of the night, and equally, we shouldn't expect that all those realms, the fast-moving forward motion of Mercury, should be the same during Mercury retrograde. This is a period of slowing down, looking inward, and reflecting back on what has just been. It's an opportunity for us to go over what has been happening in our lives in the recent past. So to double check things like contracts, it's not a good time to be signing contracts during a Mercury retrograde, because it can be easy to make a slip up because our mind is turned inward, not the quick moving, clever mind of Hermes Mercury. It's about this deeper, reflecting, chthonic, earthy underworld aspect. Mercury, remember, in mythology, Hermes in mythology is the guide of the souls of the dead across the threshold into the underworld. So he's there helping move between realms. And that's what he's doing for us now during both this Gemini Dark Moon and Mercury retrograde, which also, the dark moon is also a solar eclipse. Not sure where it's visible in the world. It won't be where I am here in Santa Fe, but regardless, I'll feel its energy. We all will. This particular Gemini dark moon is extra potent because it's strengthened that inward reflection, that natural tendency of the dark moon to lead us inward is strengthened by Mercury being retrograde. Then there's this solar eclipse happening as well. So powerful, powerful times. So Mercury, as the psychopomp, the guide of the souls into the underworld, is also guiding us, saying, hey, turn away from the outer world for this short period of time and do the deeper work, the underworld work. This is, I believe, a really great time, the whole of Mercury retrograde, and specifically our dark moon, these 3 days when the moon has disappeared from our sky, to be journaling, to be doing some divination, get out your tarot cards, to be sitting quietly at your altar, light a candle, just slow it down, reflect on your recent activities, double check that email that you are waiting for a reply for. Did it actually send? Because things do screw up in Mercury retrograde. That does happen because those kind of things stop being the main concern of Mercury during this time. He's got other work to do. He's in the underworld. So just as we don't expect during a rainstorm, if we hang out our washing, we don't expect it to dry, just as we shouldn't expect to be able to walk through a forest and be able to find our way easily if the moon is dark, then we shouldn't expect that all the normal mercurial things of communications and emails and internets and trains and planes and cars and travel and clear communication, they're not going to be the same. And that's okay. It's part of nature, this built-in period of time that says, look inward, slow down, push reset. So on this Gemini Dark Moon, this one opportunity that we have this year to experience the Gemini Dark Moon, my suggestion is that we just allow ourselves a little bit of time to simply breathe, to slow it down, to do some ritual, to do some meditating, to quietly and slowly walk in nature, all those lovely things that keep us connected with our deeper selves. Every month on my Patreon page, I do a dark moon magic meditation where I record a meditation specifically around the energies of this particular dark moon and share it on my Patreon page for my dark moon tier. So if you're not a patron, you might want to check that out. And of course, all patrons, right from the first tier, which is just $2 a month, will get my full moon magic concerts. So check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/Wendy Rule. You'll find a link on my website, wendyrule.com. And mostly, I want to wish you a very beautiful, very gentle, very reflective, very slow Gemini Dark Moon. Blessed be.